The Tipping Point with Mike Tipton is brought to you by Dubby. What is Dubby? Dubby is a clean energy drink that is made to give you focus with no crash, jitters, or angst like those other energy drinks have. They also have no maltodextrin fillers and don't use artificial dyes. Dubby contains vitamins, amino acids, a nootropic, and 150 milligrams of caffeine. Dubby's products are made in the USA in an FDA-inspected facility that strictly adheres to GMP manufacturing guidelines. All of the flavors are unique and custom-made by Dubby, and you'll never taste our taste anywhere else. The best part about it is they're affordable. Dubby's drinks come out to about $1 per drink, much cheaper than Starbucks or any of those canned energy drinks. To learn more, visit w.gg.com/discount/MRTipton33 and place your order today. Use promo code MrTipton33 and save today. Dubby Energy, be better. What's going on, everybody? I want to tell you about my new friends over at Cleverman. Visit them online at becleverman.com. What they gave me was the energizing face and beard scrub along with the Cleverman face scrubber. And trust me when I say this, the energizing face and beard scrub smells amazing. Combining it with the face scrubber, making sure that your boy was looking as good and sexy as possible, opened up a whole different sensation in my face that I haven't ever felt before. I felt so clean, so fresh, and so clean, like Outcast said, and it helped me feel like I was ready for my day. Make sure you visit them online at becleverman.com and follow them on Instagram at clevermannyc. The link is up in my bio if you want to check out all the amazing products they have. Visit them online, becleverman.com. Good morning. It is a Friday morning. Mike Tipton, Augustine Pimentel hanging out with you here on this Friday. It is a TIP VIP Friday, so you know what that means. Y'all bring the questions. We bring the answers. We do all that stuff. Augustine, again, it's been a little while since we did a show. A lot of stuff going on at the baseball stadium this week, so I haven't been able to be here to do all the stuff that I want to do. But you have been mining for my tears because I had the Spurs lose in the NBA Finals. I had the Vegas Golden Knights lose in the Stanley Cup final. A bad 24 hours for your boy. Go ahead, Augustine. Say your piece and put a final nail in the coffin on the Spurs season.
Oh, no. But first of all, good morning, everybody. Hope everyone is having a brilliant day. No. I mean, I'm going to put that nail really slowly because, I mean, the spurts, that's the way I'm calling them now, the spurts, because they do great in the first half, but they forget there's a second half to the game. And as far as hockey, I didn't pay attention to it this year at all, and I'm surprised because I do like hockey. I think hockey's a great sport, and if you think hockey's great, you should like football as well. And what I mean by football, I mean football.
Okay, well, you're gonna have to explain that one to me. What is the, like, other than both of them having goalies? What do they have in common?
Well, the offsides, obviously there's no icing in football, but they both bring a sense of excitement when somebody actually scores.
Yeah, because it's so few and far between that people score.
Well, I don't know if you've been watching this World Cup.
I most definitely have. It's been insane.
There's been some surprising, laughable games. For example, Spain tying 0-0 with I can't remember who, but a Spain 0-0 matchup. And then we've had some other howlers, but it hasn't been because of bad shots. The goalkeeping has been absolutely magnificent. This is the first,
except for in South Korea and Mexico yesterday.
well, yeah, I was going to remember the only reason Mexico scored is because the South Korean goalkeeper made a boo boo, big boo boo. But for the most part, there's been a lot of quality soccer being played. And we are lucky enough here that, and then I'm going to, may I, Tipton, because this is your show, may I say a really big network on your show?
Yeah.
Telemundo, and you have to say it right. Telemundo has all the games for free.
JP, my host saying my dad loves your show. He's fucking listening right now. Hey, shout out to your dad. I don't know who your dad is though. This is the first time I've seen you, JP. So you got to let me know who you are.
Hey, by the way, this weekend is Father's Day.
Hey, exactly. This is the best Father's Day gift you can give your dad.
No, it's not. Don't do it. Don't.
It really is. Hey, tell your dad. Tell your dad to take care of himself. He should know what to do by now. If he genuinely watches the show.
In about 25 minutes, he'll know.
Yes.
But as we were talking about soccer, and this is the biggest World Cup there's ever been. It's 48 teams. It's many goals, and it's a great show. We have to remember that the World Cup final is watched by an average of 1.5 billion people around the world. I know Tommy likes American football, but it's not even close to the amount of market penetration that football has.
And that's the thing, right? And that's the reason why I have been kind of contrite in wanting to make sure that I actually watch and do these things, because there is a large soccer fan population out there that wants to get some information and, be it from anybody else. But the fact of the matter is that it is such a global game. It is fun, like seeing the expanded tournament and stuff this year. It is fun. I've again watched more than my share. I think I've watched more World Cup soccer this year than I have any other time at any other point in my life. And I think that that's partially because it's actually in a time zone where I don't have to go over the top and out of my way to try to find the games, right? Like it's just there. Like we're going to have a game here in an hour, right? So we're going to have that one, then another game following that one, a little bit of a break, then two more games and stuff like that. Like it's super easy for us who aren't, hardcore soccer fans to be able to watch it. So there's not an excuse to be like, okay, I don't want to watch it. And again, I don't have an emotional tie to any of the teams. Like it was cool to see Mexico win yesterday. I would have liked to have seen a little more out of them than what they got, but Mexico becomes the first team to move on to the knockout stage, which is cool with that. I'm tired of people coming up with like the tie conversation. Oh, we got to figure out ties. There's ties in the NFL too. And, there's tiebreakers that go along with those ties. So if ties are what's holding you back from enjoying soccer, your favorite sport has ties in it too. So you like, sure, soccer's a little more, it happens a little more, but you get a point for it. You get this and that. Like it's a point system. If you can't understand a point system, then you just don't understand sports.
Or you need to go back to kindergarten and understand math.
Yeah, basic addition.
Basic addition. Threes and ones. Man, those damn numbers that you can't divide by other.
Most people will call them prime numbers, but yes, I got
matchups
you.
For today, Tip. I was forgetting the name Prime. There you go. There you go, Optimus. But
Oh,
For today, you were and you know our own USA plays against Australia, and that game, and you said it starts in an hour. Well, some days it starts at 1 p.m. So today is 1 p.m. The
hmm.
USA against Australia. Then you have, which is going to be a wonderful game, I think, at 4 p.m. Scotland and Morocco, where they Morocco has an incredible team, and Scotland is back after I think 26 years back in the World Cup. So it's going to be a great game. Then you have today's sleeper, which I'm calling the games that people aren't looking a lot into it, but we've had a bunch of games that people were like, "Well, this is going to be a sleeper," and all of a sudden comes out to be a great game. Brazil and Haiti. Brazil, the five-time World Cup champions, against Haiti, an island which has had its troubles. And then at night, at 9 p.m., if you don't want to go out and drinking and you want to stay home and have a bottle for yourself, you can look at Turkey and Paraguay go at it. And that game is going to be a great game. So we got three wonderful games coming up in one sleeper. Uh, for those people that don't like soccer, give it a chance, give it a shot. It's on 48. It's with actual commentary. Well, and scratch that because I've been, channel surfing. All of a sudden, some of the games are on channel 14 here locally, which is Fox TV on open, you know, open TV. And let me tell you how lucky we are here in North America. England, which we know how soccer, football reigns their coverage, uh, they're charging either a flat rate of like 279 pounds for the whole World Cup, or about 10 pounds per game if you want to go per game. I see soccer is exciting for you, Tip.
I mean, games like this, events like this, should always be free, no matter where it is, right? And like, I get it. I think the traditional North American United States sports fan, if I had to pay for it, I'm not watching it, right? I know Europe, they're probably going to make that commitment to watch whatever their favorite sport is at any point in time, just because it's what they love, right? It was the same thing that I was talking about. If the Super Bowl were to become behind a paywall, we'd pay for it. We'd find a way to pay for it. And we do that with Thursday night football. We do that whenever they have the games on Netflix. We find a way to do any of that. We will find a way to pay for whatever it is that we want to watch for. But events like this, the World Cup, the Super Bowl, the NBA Finals, the Stanley Cup Final, like all that should always be free and available no matter what. And it kind of sucks that you take advantage of sports fans that way. Networks take advantage of sports fans that way because you know that we're going to pay. But I can't see a scenario out there where we can fight back against the system, because we can sit there loud as all hell, be like, "Oh, I'm not going to pay for that. I'm not going to pay for that." But by the time the game comes, as sports fans, we get so much FOMO, fear of missing out, right? We get so much of that we ultimately break down and buy it. But it's just it's such a sleazy way of doing things, man. Ashley saying, "Morning, fellas. I agree. They should be free. We started watching on Telemundo. LOL, not spammed with commercials and much more exciting with the commentary." I will say this, right? Like the commentary on Telemundo is top notch. It genuinely is. If you can understand and get by with enough Spanish. If not, it's a great way to try to learn some Spanish, man. Like, you should be able to pick something up by then.
And I'm going to say this out loud, and I hope he's listening because I respect the guy way too much, and he's an amazing play-by-play guy. Duke Keith. Duke, somebody somewhere grabbed this guy, and he just knows so much about the game and everything. He's so exciting. We have a genuine gem here locally in Duke Keith in the way he calls games that I'm surprised that none of the bigger channels have grabbed him up and say, we want you to do this for us. And I'm just so in awe of Duke Keith and how he goes about it because uh was it a week ago? I think I was watching a World Cup game, and then it went into that hydration break, which is very Americanized to make the game 4 quarters if you think about it. Um, but I was listening to Duke Keith call it a locomotive game, and he was, and I heard him before, and he was very insightful, but for some reason to me what he says resonates with me, and I think it resonates with a lot of football fans that he actually knows what the heck he's talking about.
You
And
can
I
tell
specify him.
you can tell that there's a genuine passion for the sport there, and that's what makes him so unique, especially to this area. Plus, and I've said it a million times. I don't think this isn't anything new. Duke Keith is a mentor of mine in radio. Helped me get my career in broadcasting and stuff like that on the way, as well. Showed me commercial production, which is a thing that I've been good at for quite some time in my life. Right. So Duke Keith, friend, mentor, all that stuff. Let me get that out of the way before I say this. He is one of the few people that I wish I could sound like. He has such an amazing voice. He has such an amazing delivery. And the fact of the matter is you can plug him into any sport. People forget he's the voice of the Rhinos. He's the voice of the El Paso Locomotive. He does a ton of things with UTEP athletics as well, with New Mexico State athletics as well. You can find Duke Keith anywhere. And it's the same passion all the time. And it's the same level of preparation. It's the same level of care, because you genuinely have to care about what it is that you're broadcasting about. And he is one of the best. And Augustine, I agree with you 100%. How he's not in a bigger market is beyond me. That's got to be a decision he made.
Yeah, the thing is, Duke Keith loves El Paso. He absolutely loves the city. He loves Juarez as well. He loves the entire borderland. It's and he's probably told this to you that we live, because I've heard him say this. We live in a place where it's been touched by a heavily asset, because we have the best of everything. Yeah. We really do. So, yeah. So hats off to Duke. Hats off for doing what very few people know how to do. That is play-by-play, because very few people know how to do it.
Yeah, you have to be able to, even if it's TV, you have to be able to paint the picture of what's going on, because very few times we're not actually watching the TV. We're kind of down this way, right? Like seeing what's going on, checking the mentions, doing all that stuff. So you have to be able to paint the picture even on TV, and then convey the mark of a great play-by-play person is to be able to use their voice to make sure you are engaged no matter what. And obviously, again, having to put, the just the things out there. Yes, I am one of the producers for the El Paso Locomotive broadcast. It's not me glazing up my own broadcast or any of that nonsense. But being in this position, being able to or kind of, let me call it what it is, being forced to start caring about this game more than what I did in the past, to start, learning more about it and stuff like that. It's awesome whenever you have a commentator like Duke who can keep you engaged no matter what, and who can also give you a small bit of education if you're new to the game, because you're not talking over so many people's heads. That's something that I've always kept in mind. It was a great compliment that I got from Ashley. As a matter of fact, I did Ashley's podcast last week, and it was a compliment that she gave me. Is like, I always make this show feel welcome, because I can. Augustine, I can bash people over the head with nomenclature, with stats, with all kinds of stuff, and just drill it down into people. But for me, I was always taught, you might have a person who's tuning in for the first time. Make it a welcoming show to them, even if they're a novice at whatever it is that you're talking about.
Yeah, completely agreed. You do that all the time, because I understand sports thanks to you.
It's like, I understand what choke jobs are thanks to you, Mike.
Thanks to your team.
Yeah,
Sneaky.
you know what? I'm glad that the Spurs could show people what bad basketball looks like.
Well, you got to be very specific. Bad second half basketball looks like.
Yes, bad clutch basketball, not being able to have a clutch gene at all. I'm glad that they could show the entire world what that is.
And you know what? And this it might go two ways, which the flip of the coin and all that stuff.
Well, if there's anything I know about you, it's that you love going two ways.
Yeah, I could go south, and no, I'm not going to go there. Anyway, Beastrill is not on. Beastrill is not on. We don't like the beefy men, but here's the thing. Here's the major thing. You either learn from it and work your butt off in the off season, or you go woe is me and start and go completely the other way, and find yourself in the woe is me kind of category. I don't think they're going to find the woe is me because they've got some great leadership in Wemby, talking it up and everything like that. But I don't know some of the other players. I don't know. I love the way Castle plays, but he needs to take his game to the next level if he really wants to cement himself as an elite player. He's got all the tools, just he's got that face like he's not trying. And does that go into the offseason? Because championships are won in the offseason, Tip. You know that much. We know that what you put in the offseason is what you get in the season.
I wanted to go to this comment here real quick. Ashley saying, "Ooh, Duke, Tip, and Cujo on a nation broadcast, like a national broadcast." I'm like, there's a part of me that wants to do some watch parties. Obviously, I couldn't do it this week because of scheduling conflicts with the stuff that we've got going on in the baseball stadium. But next week, we've got nothing, right? Like we don't have a locomotive game. We don't have any baseball games. I've got one event on Tuesday evening, and that's it. So I'm thinking maybe I find a time next week. I got to see what next week's schedule is for maybe the U.S. or a Mexico game. We find a place that we can go to. Maybe we talk to our friends over at Buffalo Wild Wings. We just have a watch party out over there, and maybe we do like a little, watch along, and we do some play by and stuff like that. Although you can't necessarily do play by because that would be illegal, but you can. There's ways around it. I've done it a million times. I haven't been sued yet. It might also be because I have zero value to be sued. So maybe that's what it is. But
yeah, they'll take away. They'll go. We'll take away. No, continue.
They'll be like, let's take away your most valuable thing. I'll be like, here's Augustine.
Well, I'm worth my weight in gold. How about
here's
that?
Brandon.
Well, he's not worth a lot anymore.
As much. He's not worth as much. But going back to what you were talking about, right? Like there really are two ways that you can handle this if you're the San Antonio Spurs. One, and we can tell just by everything that Wembanyama has given us over the last couple of years, right? That he is going to be one of these dudes who gets motivated by this. You never, ever want to feel this feeling again. He's going to be that guy, right? Like I will do everything I can to make sure I never feel this way again.
Does he motivate his players though? That's my question.
He did. Game 3. Yeah, game 3.
The game they won.
Yes, you can see like they're on the bench and he's like yelling at people and he's getting them motivated and he steps up and he starts doing his thing. He's definitely a lead by example kind of guy. But truth be told, the Spurs were completely outmatched in this series, right? Like Brunson was the best point guard on the floor. Again, Wemby might be the best player on the floor, no matter what floor he's on. Brunson.
I really care to go another way with that one because Jalen Brunson proved he was the best player on the floor.
Oh yeah,
that 45-point outburst when the game was on the line, hitting threes over Wembanyama, hitting a 6'3", and I'm being generous, 6'3" guard shooting threes over 7'4" Victor Wembanyama.
But that's
and
the
making them.
thing, right? Like bigs get shot over all the time, especially out there, because that's where they're not like you're on an island as a big, and as the big, you're also taught that you're so much slower than everyone else. So you kind of sag off a little bit. They make that shot, they make that shot. But it does look super impressive whenever a short guy like Jalen Brunson, who is 6'3", is able to shoot over the outstretched, pterodactyl wing of Victor Wembanyama. Like that is very, very impressive. But again, I would say out of the top 5 players, right? The top 5 players in this series, New York had to have 4 of them. There was a big drop off between Wemby being the best player that the Spurs have and whoever number 2 was, because Castle was in constant foul trouble. He's got to get better at that. Dylan Harper has proven over this playoffs he might be the goods, right? So like that's a good pickup for the San Antonio Spurs. But outside of those 3 guys, was there anybody else on the Spurs that you felt like, oh, okay, yeah, this guy can take over whenever it's time to do it? Yes, De'Aaron Fox hit a game sealing shot in game 3, but the rest of the series, he was nowhere to be found. And when they needed him the most in game 4, he melted away. But like it wasn't a very foxy move from De'Aaron Fox to do the bullshit that he did. Like it was bad. And like the more that I'm talking about this, if you want to talk about like the top 10 players on the in the NBA Finals, it's not a far stretch to say that the Knicks had 7 to 8 of the top best players out of the top 10 in the NBA Finals. And then there's a huge drop off for the Spurs.
Yeah, but the talent is there for the Spurs.
Oh,
the
again,
talent,
yeah.
The talent and the potential is there. The thing is, I don't think they're there mentally.
Yeah, and again, like
and it's not the age. It just
it is.
Well,
it's experience, dude. Like we saw it with Jordan. We always forget until Scottie Pippen came around to help out Jordan and give him more, of a well-rounded game. Jordan won 1 playoff game out of 10, right? Never made it out of the first round. This is the greatest of all time, and he's not prone to criticism. The same thing with Wilt Chamberlain, the same thing with Jerry West, the same thing with Shaquille O'Neal, the same LeBron James. No matter who you want to call one of the greatest of all time, there is always a learning curve there.
Always. The only thing is that I understand the learning curve, but when you have a plethora of these kinds of players where they're together, you kind of see that they need to perform.
I feel like I got frozen, but it's just my camera that's frozen.
Yeah, you're frozen. And I was like, what? All my knowledge kind of, Tipton is in awe. That was your awe face. Awe.
Very much in awe. Like I'm always enamored with you.
No, that's not the right word either.
There we go. Now I'm back. I don't know what the hell happened. Like the setting there told me like we're no longer going to do this in 1080p. We got to do this in 780 or 720i or whatever. I was like, well, this is interesting because that's never happened to me before. I was looking too good that the camera was like, we have to bring it back down. Like we can't make you look that good. We're doing too much work to make you look that good.
You know when you're at a party and you give people your phones to take a picture and say, well, don't break the camera. I think that's just what you did, Tipton.
Not only did I break the camera, I broke the internet. Like I broke the internet and the camera at the same time with just my disgusting looks.
You've done that all your life. Don't worry.
No, I know. I mean, it's a thing that I should be used to. It's just, it's a hard reality. You don't necessarily want to make sure that you're the guy that's known for breaking the camera with how ugly you are. And the thing is, Augustine, is that like we were getting into it, like we were really having some good momentum there, and then it just throws us a curveball that way. So all it did is just it gave us just the tip.
I just want to put the tip in.
Oh, yeah.
It's time for
Just the Tip.
That would make me uncomfortable.
Promise that it ain't too much, but just enough. Just a tip. Just a tip.
Just the tip. Just the tip.
It's time for
Just the Tip is brought to you by our friends over at www.myhappynuts.com. Guys, Father's Day is right around the corner. You've got to make sure you're taking care of yourself, especially your boys. And ladies, if you're out there watching the show, you've got to make sure you're taking care of your mans as well. That's your mans. Make sure you're taking care of him. Get him the comfort cream, www.myhappynuts.com. It's been hot. It's been muggy. I, though, feel nice and fresh down below because I take care of my nuts. My nuts are the happiest they have ever been. You need to do the same. www.myhappynuts.com. Use promo code Mike Tipton at checkout, Mr. Tipton 33 at checkout, and save on all of your male grooming needs.
You were so late on that intro, though. That was fascinating. You're just a tip, and then 1, 2, 3.
I think my internet's down or something, man. Like it's working slower than what it normally is. I'm not used to this. We did have a pretty, we got hail and stuff last night. Yeah.
What?
Yeah, here on the Far East Side, we got some hail, a lot of thunder, a lot of lightning, a lot of rain. Many people are saying it was the most rain in the history of wetness.
No. hey, and I do have to talk about another thing about Jalen Brunson. His interview right after they won was so touching. Because they asked him, "What do you feel?" He said the most honest thing I've ever heard a player say. I don't know. He said, and then the way he just expressed himself on what it meant to him. That was just unbelievable, and he really came across how your next door neighbor would come across. Hey, you won the lottery. How do you feel? I don't know. Hey, you won this. I don't know. And I think Jalen Brunson, yeah, he cemented himself as a New York great. He cemented himself. A lot of people have been saying about as the greatest Knick ever, and no. If you're saying that, you're an idiot, Stephen A. Smith. But
he can get there, right? Like if he does enough, he can get there. But you're not putting him over Patrick Ewing right now. There's no. I get it. Yes, he won a championship. Blah 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 blah. Patrick Ewing is the greatest Knicks player that's ever been.
I agree.
I guess Walt Frazier. Like you got to give some of the old heads love too. Like Walt Frazier would be on there. Nate Archibald's got to be. Come on now, come on.
Yeah, but soon, and I'm going to stick a nerve really hard here, Tipton. What if it takes the Cowboys 53 years to win that Super Bowl? I mean, looking back, what I'm going to ask. Let's say it's a Jericho Tipton, at quarterback. In about 20 years, people are going to start saying that he's the greatest Cowboy of them all. We can't just throw out those things just like that. And it's so sad the national media had to go that way just to grab some headlines and not look at the real headlines is that New York actually won a championship 53 years later, because that was the actual headline.
The city of New York got to celebrate a championship in basketball for the first time in over half a century, right? Like that to me is the number one storyline. That's the best thing that happened out of the entire thing. We just are always prisoner of the moment. That's how we are as human beings. We're prisoner of the moment, right? Like you saying, oh, the Spurs that was the biggest choke job in the history of the NBA. Well, let's not forget about LeBron James and the 2010 Miami Heat, that super team doing all that stuff, right? Like we tend to get caught up in the moment. We tend to live in like a hyperbolic chamber and doing all that good stuff. The fact of the matter is yes, Jalen Brunson is undoubtedly one of the greatest New York Knicks players of all time. But you cannot start crowning someone the greatest of all time for a team just because he won a championship. Now, I get it. You're a Knicks fan, Stephen A. Smith. Like you like to pretend you are at least, and do all of this stuff. But we as fans always do that, right? Like whenever our team wins a championship, this is the greatest feeling I've ever had in my entire life. Oh my God, I've never had anything better than this. Well, then, my friend, that means you've never had sex because I would do that a million times over winning a championship. Let me do that as a fan, right? Maybe as a player, completely different. But as a fan, I can think of a lot of feelings better than watching my team win a championship.
Yeah, and how much dirt did Stephen A. Smith eat when when he tried to apologize to Jalen Brunson? That was I don't know. Stephen A. Smith should stop being being a reporter or whatever he is, and just enjoy the game and just see the development of Jalen Brunson as a player that he has had over the last, since he got traded to New York, and because he said that Jalen Brunson was going to be the reason the Knicks would not win a championship, and man, did he eat crow.
And that's the thing, right? Like the internet never forgets. The sports culture never forgets. Whenever you go out and you say some dumb stuff like that, you better find a way to own it, right? Like now he's been really good at being able to play both sides of the coin and do all that nonsense of like, oh, well, what I did is I motivated them and I did this and that and blah, 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 blah. No, whenever you go out and you say a team will never win a championship because of someone that they signed, just because you don't like the way that they signed him, the fact of the matter is that Jalen Brunson took less than the guaranteed max, right? That's a dude who said, look, I'm going to do this so that my team can have X amount of money for signing players and blah, 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 blah. We know the salary cap in the NBA isn't real, but it's still something there that's a hard thing to circumvent. He did these things to make sure that the team was able to get better. The team was able to get better. It was really easy in the past for talking heads, for people on national media, for all those people to go and hate on James Dolan, especially following the way that he kicked out Charles Oakley and all that stuff. Oh, look at this guy. He has no clue what he's doing. He stepped back. He just said, I'm going to spend money on the team, let the general managers hire whoever the hell they wanted to hire, fire whoever the hell they wanted to fire. It was very unpopular. Remember, it was very unpopular last season whenever they fired Mike Thibodeau because he got them to the Eastern Conference Final. And they're like, oh, you're not going to get a better coach than that. Mike Brown's not a better coach than Tom Thibodeau. And then Mike Brown comes in, wins them an NBA Final. They made the right decisions along the way, despite the fact that you had people like Stephen A. Smith, who, as the commish says, is just a fan of the moment. You have people like him hating on what it is that you're doing, and you still find a way to make sure you get it done. Ashley saying those takes are what has made him ass. All about the clicks and rage bait. He works both sides because he's fitting to get into politics. That is what it feels like. Stephen A. is going to wind up being in. He's always been in politics, though. A lot of people need to remember this. When he first got fired from ESPN, I want to say it was 2003, he was on CNN and Fox News as a commentator, as a person for at least a good 10 years.
Yeah.
Consecutively. He's getting back into it now, but it was consecutively 10 years.
Yeah, and the thing is, most of his opinions are just clickbait. And
it's not as much of an opinion as it is stating what people want to hear. Right? Like, you're a dude from Philadelphia. Oh, I hate the Dallas Cowboys. Okay, cool. I'm going to choose 31 other teams than the Dallas Cowboys to win a championship. Way to be brave. Oh, my God. Every team will win the championship, but not the Cowboys. Hedging your bets on that one, man. That's a tough one to get behind.
Hey, stop talking about me.
Tommy's saying, I was one of those saying that the Knicks were dumb for letting go of a coach that had got them to the conference finals. And again, the criticism should be there, but teams know more about what's going on in their team than what we do, right? There comes a point where, and I've said it we were talking about it with Mike McCarthy, right? there comes a time where the message from the head coach becomes stale. We say it about UTEP athletics all the time. There comes a time when the message from the head coach becomes stale, and you just have to bring in somebody else that has a new point of view that can get them over the hump. We saw this with, let's go all the way back into time, right? We saw this with the Chicago Bulls getting rid of Doug Collins and bringing in Phil Jackson. We saw this with the LA Lakers getting rid of, God, whoever their coach was at the time. I want to say it was like Tex something, but I can't remember what his name was. Getting rid of him, bringing in Phil Jackson. We saw it with the Golden State Warriors getting rid of Mark Jackson and bringing in Steve Kerr, right? It's a thing that we see a lot of in basketball. You just see more of it, I want to say, in hockey, especially because you can get rid of a coach right before the playoffs of a team that's super stagnant. And then in hockey, he just comes in, they wind up winning the Stanley Cup. Hockey is such an insane sport that way. And I think it happens in soccer a bit too, right?
Yeah, it does. And how about one of the major points of this World Cup is Tunisia, when they lost their first game, I think 5-1. First time ever in a World Cup moment that a World Cup head coach gets fired during the World Cup.
That's insane. I couldn't imagine firing your coach in the middle of the World Cup.
When I was at the office and we were, water cooler talk with everybody at the office, and my SQE supplier quality engineer listening to me, did you see that Tunisia fired their coach? Oh, that's probably yours. And then I look it up and I go, what? They fired their coach right after the first game of the World Cup.
You still have more games.
Yeah. You have 2 games after that in order to. You got to remember these. Yeah, this is a long tournament, but it's actually a short tournament for all the teams. It's 3 games, and if you don't qualify, you're out. You go back home, and then it's a knockout stage after that. So all the games matter. That's the thing, and that's another conversation we were having at the office. We worked very hard at the office, just so
clearly.
Yeah, we were talking about baseball because another of my SQEs is a huge baseball fan. I mean, this guy breeds baseball and he speaks stats and all this and that. But I told him the following: do you follow the whole season? And even he said he didn't. 162 games, he said, that's just too much. That's a lot of games that don't matter.
I will say that every game matters. Especially all 75 of our home games that we have with the El Paso Chihuahuas. Make it out to the stadium every now and then, guys. It'll be fun. Have a good old time. Saturday, we're going to have fireworks. Go out there for the fireworks, man. It's Toy Story night.
Oh, that's right. Toy Story 5 is out. What are they going to?
We need. I was watching the trailer for it, right? I'm there with Jericho and all that, and he's like, "Do we really need a 5th Toy Story?" And I was like, "I don't think we do, but I get the message, right? Like, get off electronics and go play with some of the toys you got." I even told him, like, we've got you a ton of stuff, but you're just sitting there on your phone 90% of the time. Like, maybe go play with some of the stuff that you made us buy you jerk. Like, maybe you go do that.
I can't believe you called Jericho a jerk.
I didn't do that. What kind of person would do that?
It's a caring father. Happy Father's Day, everybody.
I just want the best for him. That's all.
Yes, you jerk. No, but we were talking about the importance of games, and this is, and you said it like a year ago. That is why the NFL rules in the USA, because every game matters.
Well, I mean, it's also the physicality, right? Like, you can't play football more than once a week. Like, if you do that, you just have bodies fucking crashing out all over the place. Like, they just wouldn't be able to survive. Basketball, a much faster paced game, less physicality that goes along with it. Hockey, I don't understand how the hell they can make it through an entire season, but whatever, you're doing your thing. We all know hockey players are tougher than normal human beings. So
They're not human
that's what it is.
beings. They're
Yeah,
not
they're not.
human.
They're not.
They're not.
But again, like, scarcity makes people care more, right? I thought baseball had a really good thing, and I get it. It was the COVID season. It didn't really matter. But whenever they had those 60 games, just 60 games, and it made people really be like, holy shit, okay, well, now we've got to focus in on baseball and see what's going on. It made you realize that people will care more than 162 games. Even if you cut it down to like 82, right? Like you do what the NBA and NHL does. You give us 80 games. That would feel so much more of a light lift for baseball than it would for, what we have to do now as fans. However, that will never happen because that stadium loves being open, right? You're not going to tell the owner we're going to have half the events here, which means half the concessions, half the ticket sales, half the merch being sold inside the stadium at that point in time, half of the upgrades and things like that people get in the middle of the stadium. You're going to cut all that revenue in half? No. I put your owner's hat on right now, Augustine, and we're all saying no. You know what we want? We want more games. Make it 200 games a season for Major League Baseball. I don't give a shit. My stadium will be open. People will buy things. People will, buy tickets. They'll be there. It'll be available. Let's do something like that.
Yeah, and you're completely right. But they also need to have the right sound in those stadiums because most sounds in the stadium is awful.
Not my stadium. I'm busting my ass. I busted my ass to make sure that stadium sounds good.
And that's part of the experience of going to a stadium, the singing, that seventh inning stretch, that's part of going to a game. And the thing is, people zone out in games because we're accustomed to watching it on TV and having it explained to us. And we don't like looking up at the score. Was that a strike or a ball? We don't recognize the umpire going like this anymore. Oh, if he didn't do that, it's a ball, and you're right. We've been blessed with great commentators throughout, especially in baseball. I mean, how many great commentators have there been in baseball? Because, and I'll tell you this much, and this is also props for I always forget his name, his first name, Haggerty.
Tim.
Tim Haggerty. He makes you live the game. If you're, sometimes I turn the TV off and just listen to a Chihuahuas game. He really does that, and it's a lot like that with a lot of the soccer play-by-play, including Duke Keith. You can turn off the TV and you can actually be living the game. And I'm going to say probably a really bad thing to a lot of people, but I like Joe Buck. And he really does that. He makes you live. You can turn off the game and just listen to Joe Buck, and you'll really experience that game.
I feel like Joe Buck, like as a football commentator, he's okay. Like I've never understood the hate towards him. Like he's okay. As a baseball commentator, he is one of the best. And it's the same thing like Bob Costas. Those guys calling baseball games are phenomenal. And that's what I love about Tim is most of the time now in like a radio booth for baseball, you got, minimum 3 people, sometimes 4, just depends on like what it is that you're doing, a whole bunch of little things like that. Tim does the vast majority of these games by himself. He has an intern who goes in and helps him out with a couple of things here and there who he'll allow onto the broadcast, like what he did yesterday, right? But he is an old-timey, like, baseball dude, and I love that about him, especially if you, like, again, like, shameless plug, Tim Haggerty's book, Tales from the Diamond, like the baseball, like, it is a great book, but he's taught, like, you can hear his voice in that book, the delivery of it. the way that he sounds, right? Like it's very Vince Scully-esque whenever you think
Yes.
of like old baseball guys. Tommy's saying the same thing. I know you're probably not going to agree with this, Brandon. Or wow, I just called you Brandon. Holy shit! It's because I saw Brad right there. Augustine. You're probably not going to agree with this, Augustine. But Brad Sham from the Dallas Cowboys radio broadcast, he's been there so long.
Yes.
And like it's such a perfect, like I prefer listening to the radio broadcast over watching like the TV broadcasts.
Yeah. It's those classic classic, play-by-play that make you live the game. That have cemented their voice to some of the most incredible plays, like when the ball went right between the legs and under the glove, calls like those, or the butt fumble. That was the funniest thing ever, and stuff like that. It's you connect those voices to those moments, and simply put, for example, Cantor with Mexico's, with the U.S. goal, and how the U.S. went to the following round in 2010. The goal, that goal, even people who don't watch soccer, Tommy, listen to that over and over again because it's a moment in history that's cemented into everyone's mind.
Ray tuning in saying, good morning, gentlemen. Just wanted to drop in real quick and say hello to you, Ray, from locally sourced El Paso. Check out that podcast as well. Then, of course, our guy Bo tuning in saying Buck is good in baseball, not a big fan of football. And again, like I get it, right? Because you can't have the baseball delivery in football. And the thing is like, even though Joe Buck has done this so long, I feel like he forces some of the moments, and two, he steps over the moment, right? Which is a thing that you're not supposed to do, especially in broadcasting, right? Like you've got to be able to let certain things breathe, especially on TV, especially on the radio. Those moments of silence, those things of just, pure where you're watching as a sports fan, those things are amazing. And then I got to give a little bit of love to my guy, right? Like I learned what a true broadcaster is whenever I went to Connecticut, right? And I got to learn under the wing of Mark Kestisher, who called the games on ESPN radio, who's done a bunch of stuff for ESPN itself, ESPN proper. The fact that Kesty can go from the NFL to college football to the NBA to college basketball to baseball and is just always around doing these things, painting an amazing picture.
No, and more than painting an amazing picture, his level of preparedness is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
The insight he gives you in every single call he makes is amazing.
Yeah. And it's like, it's one of the things that I do. And again, I consume sports differently than a lot of people because I love radio. I'm an old-timey radio guy. I would much rather listen to the radio than listen to the TV broadcast, right? Like that's just the way that I am. I understand if I had a radio on in my house while watching TV, people would fucking lose their mind, but I would much rather, and then of course there's the delay and all that good stuff that goes along with it, whatever. I am the old-timey radio guy. I fell in love with radio and sports broadcasting because of the way that you can paint a picture in sports. Again, I didn't grow up with a TV. Like I've got to always put that out there with people. I didn't grow up with a TV. I had a small little like black and white TV radio combo. That,
I thought you were going another way with that, but anyway.
The TV screen was like this big maybe, and it didn't really work because we wound up like salvaging it from a mobile home that we repossessed a very long time ago, right? That's how I started getting into sports, being able to watch my very first Yankees game was on a fucking TV that big, right? And I watched a dude with one hand pitch a no-hitter. But I go and I'm listening to, I found 600 ESPN whenever I was a kid, right? And I'm listening to those broadcasts. I go and I'm listening to old, you can go to the library back in the day and you can get the tapes and you could put those in. And you could listen to the old UTEP winning their stuff, man.
Yep.
It is the best to me. Bo saying syncing the broadcast is tough if you want the radio audio. I mean, again, if it was just me, right? Like if it wasn't my friends being here and any of that other stuff, if it was just me and I'm at home and I'm ready for a football game, I will turn everything off and just listen to the radio broadcast.
Yeah, I'm sometimes the same way because, like I said, radio makes you live it a little bit more. And for me, and radio needs to keep going. Radio needs to be there, not just in cars, but in your house. You need, if you don't have a radio in your house, there's something wrong with you. Because I have an AM FM radio at the front, and I put it up and I'm listening to stuff, and you know this, Tip. You see me sometimes tweeting at like 10 at night going, "Hey, Haggerty, why didn't you call this?" You look at me, and the only way I can be doing that is that because I'm actually listening.
Tommy says, "Damn, Mike, if I didn't know you, I would have thought that you were born in the 50s." But again,
Well,
like,
he gave you credit. I would say the 30s.
Yeah, no shit. Like my old time radio was, and now we're tuning into New York, and there's nothing but white guys on the field. That would have been the thing that I would have gotten to. But again, I grew up in a super Christian household. No cable, none of that stuff. We went to church 3 days a week if we didn't go 4 days a week. Whenever we finally got like cable TV, my mom would make sure that we had Charles Stanley. I don't know if anyone knows who that is, but Charles Stanley's like ministries up on TV all the time. And again, like it was funny because like my rebellious thing as a kid, whenever I grow up in like the 90s, right, is I was listening to hip hop on Power 102 back in the day, but I had to have it really low on that radio because if my parents came by my room, I would have to like really quick, like I learned what the presets were. It's like, oh, we're going to hit this onto like 96.3 country music, right? Like that's what it's going to be. Like we're going to have that, the K-Hey, Y96 is what it used to be called. But yeah. Like I just, again, like the super Christian household that we grew up in. Bo says that explains a lot. It really does. I'm still living that rebellious stage of what I had to go through. Could you imagine? Thank God my mother was not alive to see what this has become.
Yeah. Thank goodness she doesn't have to go through just the Tip.
Yeah. I'd be a completely different, like it would be a much more buttoned up show if my mom was like actually tuning in. See, the funny thing is like maybe this is just,
we would be wearing ties.
Maybe it's just personal trauma coming out, but like I know I can get away with this because my dad will never consume any of this, right? He's 96 years old. He doesn't give a shit about what I do.
What if he's listening each and every time?
If he is, I'm sorry, Dad. This is what you raised. You created this.
Congratulations, Dad. You raised a fine boy.
Yeah,
that's the reality of it, Tipton. That's the reality.
I love that my biggest flex is, again, being the youngest of 11. Whenever you're the baby, they always like look at you with rose-colored lenses, right? Before my mother passed away, her telling all of my siblings, I'm so glad that Michael never cusses, Michael has never drank any alcohol, and Michael has never done any drugs. And I was like, I was 29 when my mother passed away. All those things were probably in my system.
At the same time.
At the same time.
Oh, gosh.
The commission, they couldn't catch him because he runs fast. See? Yeah. He's running a little too fast there for everyone else to catch him.
Yeah. It's not like Hitler saw that.
Bo saying, had she met you before? What the hell is going on? Tommy laughing, saying, you did this.
Yeah.
It is what it is. Hey, they created this monster. I just did a great job of hiding it from my mom, apparently, which was insane because, again, 14 years old, going over to Mexico, getting hammered-ass drunk, coming back home. I don't know how she didn't know that. Or she was just, like, refusing to acknowledge it. Denial is not just a river in Egypt, as Tommy told me on Monday with the San Antonio Spurs.
Hey, real quick before we're almost at the end. So everybody watch the World Cup, even if it's not your cup of tea. This is probably a once in a lifetime kind of thing that the World Cup is here in the States. So It was back in '94. So you think about it, that's 20 years ago, 30 years ago. Excuse me. A lot of people have come and gone, and World Cup is underway. Mexico beat South Korea yesterday. Canada completely destroyed Qatar 6-0.
Old boy's leg yesterday too.
Oh, that was yeah. To those people who think soccer is not physical, go watch the replay and you'll see how physical soccer can be.
Bo is saying that he's in his backyard today watching the U.S. I bought, Augustine, you should be proud of me. I bought a U.S. national team polo, so I'm going to be rocking that. I can't bring myself to like buy the Mexican national team polo because I'm Puerto Rican.
Puerto Riqueño, say it right.
If Puerto Rico had like a national team that made it to the World Cup, I'd be sporting that.
You need to say it right. Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico.
Puerto Rico.
No, without the R's. It's with an L. Puerto Rico.
I know. Yes, I know. Trust me. Get me comfortable. Get me not in front of a microphone, and you will hear it. Get alcohol in me. Bob, Jim, and Pat. You hear whenever I have a little bit of an accent that comes out. Bo saying, I mean, it's here in Seattle. I mean, I'm down. You know what, Bo? Thanks for the invite. All of us are going to go to Seattle, and we're going to hang out in Bo's backyard. That did not sound good. We're going to hang out
with Strilla.
Yeah, with Strilla, just a bunch of big, beefy men. Soccer is as physical as Augustine's sex life. It's not. That's the best way to end the show, Tommy.